you go, then I'll.
Hello and welcome to Conversations for the Soul with Dr. Angie and Yashica B, the Motivator. We are here today going to have some nice and savory conversation. We are so glad you have decided to join us. We thank you and we welcome your insight and your feedback. Any questions that you have, please drop them in the chat box. We'll be happy to engage with you. And as we always ask, we're going to ask that you like, share, and subscribe. So please join us in our conversation today. And we look forward to having this good time with you this evening. And we thank you for being with us. All right, Yashica B, how about if you holler at your peeps?
Yeah, I did just put it down there in the comment. I was just trying to figure out how to share this thing to my page. For whatever reason, it's going to the same page. So let me figure this out. To my what's the face page, my personal page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gotta share off of that. Anyway, carry on.
All right. So I see that we have Joe with us. Hello, Joe. How are you? Thank you for joining us. All right. Wherever you are tuning in from, we ask that you drop that in the chat box so we can give you a quick shout out. We look forward to where this takes us to. So we are closing out Women's History Month, and there are, always conversations about women that we are ready to dive into. And then also, as we are looking at the various things that are happening in terms of the political arena, the things that are happening in terms of the mass shootings and so forth. So there's quite a few things on our list today to discuss with you, but we wanted to just take this moment out to holler at you and see where we can find out where people are tuning in from.
I see we have Joe on there, but I don't know why. Why is it this Sunday is giving me a hard time about sharing? Isn't that some mess? All these updates on my phone. They need to stop updating because people like me be slow.
Are funny. You are a piece of work.
Let me see if I put my ad.
I hate to update my phone because whenever I update my phone, then it's hard to figure out the new stuff that they have.
Exactly.
Even where it is.
Usually when I get ready to share, it's like it's automatically on there. It'll pop up on my.
And Joe says he is watching with us from the heart of Europe. I love it. The heart of Europe. Mm-hmm. So that just goes to show you how far reaching we are. We are able to reach the world with this internet. And as our mentor Les Brown says, we have moved from brick and mortar to click and order. So
I know.
Thank goodness for that. It's so nice to be able to reach from one corner of the world to the other corner of the world. It's just a wonderful thing. So
yeah. I'm not. It's not letting me share this thing like I want to. But it says I can share it in a group. Let's see.
Between the two of us, we have more technical issues than a little bit. I'm beginning to think it's us. I used to think it was the computer, but now I'm starting to think it might be me. It might be you.
a bit much. Yeah.
Esavari says, hello there, Miss Esavari. Glad to see you. Where are you tuning in from, my young lady? So you all set?
Who, me? Me?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You said you were trying. I'm trying to share. You all good now?
it gave me an opportunity to share it in a group, so I took it.
Okay.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? So,
very good. And Joe says the moon is full. That's why we're having tech issues. And yes, that moon is full. Have you seen the moon? It is full. Let me tell you.
No, I haven't seen it, but I go out there and look tonight because tonight I might need to be sipping on something while I'm looking out there. I had a rough weekend.
Oh, a rough weekend. So Esaberry is reporting in from Nashville, Tennessee. All right, girl. Thank you. We appreciate it. So what's going on with your weekend? What's so rough? What's happening? Or you want to just blow by that? But you know what? It's important.
Huh? What's that?
It's important for us to keep it real for our audience and to let our audience know that, we have rough days too. We have tough times. So
I think we got to start taping up some of these shows. I don't feel like getting on. What you think?
Oh, well, I guess that's an option. Oh my goodness. Joe said it's 1 a.m. where he is. So we got a serious time difference between here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to get it on my personal page because I know some people go straight to my personal page. I don't understand why is it giving me a problem today. But I did ask my daughter to get on and share it. So if she can share it to my page. I don't know why why today I can't do it from my phone. Personal page, because I know some people go straight to my personal page. Oh, you have to turn it down. I don't want to hear me twice.
And I see there is Mr. Charles Williams. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Good to see that you have joined us. He was my 7th grade social studies teacher. So that's always exciting when you see someone from back in the day.
And so you can see people that I can't see. So that's good.
Yeah, that's there from my page. That's why. So anyway,
let's start with your first topic. So let's start with your first topic so we can get this show on the road. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. So I was wondering how you were feeling about the mass shootings that took place. So the mass shooting that took place in Colorado. Say it again.
The grocery store?
Yes. So somehow that gentleman managed to murder all those people and get walked to the ambulance and then go to jail. So he did not die. It's different because when it's us, we when we're in situations like that, we come out.
We don't be in situations like that. We don't do mass shootings.
That's true. We don't do mass shootings. But we just have a little meltdown. We have a mental health meltdown, and then
or either we
have murdered 12 people. So
yeah, so that's why I was like, when at first I was like, okay, so do we want to tackle these heavy topics? It seemed like I can understand why Les Brown says that he don't even watch the stuff. And I was listening to Joe Osteen this morning because I needed some extra push and pull, and he talked about that same thing about watching the news and detaching from what's going on in the world sometimes because it's just so much, and it's so much and so fast, so heavy, and so thick all at one time. It's like when you hit one thing and then you get then it's another one, it's another one, it's another one. We haven't gotten over the Asians in Atlanta. Then here comes
yes, absolutely, so true.
I said,
I'll tell you, I used to be an avid news watcher, and now I have to say that I don't watch the news like I used to because it is so much going on, and it just
it's depressing.
I mean, just recently, there was a 13-year-old girl, a 15-year-old girl who tried to hijack the car of an Uber Eats driver and killed him. Like they took off with the car, and he died. And it's so sad. I mean, there's just so many of these stories, and then you got Virginia Beach. You got all these things happening. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's thunder and lightning here. So I'm not going to be on here too long. It just started.
That must be what we had earlier that moved through because it got kind of rough here. I mean, really, the wind was really blowing. I could hear the stuff on the side of the house and stuff like that. So I was like okay. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but we still have high winds, but it's not like it was earlier because it was real serious. So I was curious about that too. So maybe you guys are getting what we had.
Yeah, apparently so, because it all of a sudden I can hear the rain hitting the house, and it's really hitting the house pretty heavy. And that started since we've been on here. It only started like maybe 3 minutes ago.
So I done brought the storm.
Yeah, so I
am the storm.
This ain't gonna be a long night. I tell you that much.
Well, I have a tendency to bring the storm.
And Mr. Williams says, LOL, don't be scared of the thunder and lightning. Man, I ain't scared of the thunder and lightning. I'm scared of what it can do with all this electric stuff we got going on here. So
no, we ain't scared of it. We just respect it. Let it do what it do.
How about that? I like that. Not scared of it, just respect it. I love it.
I give you your time, you give me mine. I'm going to give you all yours. You can do a little bit more damage than I can.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that I know Les Brown had recommended, that we take periodically a 72-hour social media diet to refrain, fasting from the social media and fasting from the TV news. And, it's just one of those things that I don't think that's such a bad idea. I think anything that you really need to know about, you'll find out about. The other stuff is just a lot of negativity. And sometimes we get bogged down in that negativity, and it gets to be too heavy, particularly if you have your own issues going on. It just piles on and piles on and piles on. So that's something that, is not a bad idea. He recommended that you take anywhere from 48 hours to 72-hour social media fast. And that might be something that we need to subscribe to. Anyone in the chat, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's something that you might be willing to do? Take that challenge, take the news, social media fasting challenge for 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours. See how you make out. Yeah, I see.
I was looking around to see what Big Boy was, because he had to make sure he don't surprise me and come climbing up here.
I'm busting in here, giving you kisses like he usually does.
Yeah, he
says, hello, Angie Gray and Yashica Mac. And he said, well, I'm not sure what he's referring to there, but I'm just going to leave that alone until he fills us in, because I don't want to suggest anything, because I might be wrong. And
Mr. Williams says that would be hard for him to take the social media.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be hard for him, because as a social studies history buff, it is really tough to not be involved in the daily current events and all that. I would imagine it would be tough, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking that I might be willing to do that. And I do watch the news every day, but not like I used to. That used to be my thing. And I used to use it as a conversation starter for my children and I. Like, if we saw something on the news, and that would open the doors for that conversation, to have some of those tough conversations that we have to have with children, but we don't want to just pull them out of the clear blue sky. We want to be able to show them what we're talking about, because sometimes we can show them better than we can tell them. And I used to use the news in that fashion, but 2020 has taught me something new and different about what really happens in the media. There's so much going on right now, and there's always been so much going on, but at least it used to be kind of local. You had your big fire, you had your big accident on the highway, and you had those kinds of things. You had weather related things, but now we have all this stuff happening all at one time. The tornadoes took out some lives, took out houses, and people died. But I don't think was that last night or night before. Night before, I believe it was. So there are constantly this negativity thing that's feeding into our psyche. And one of the things that we have to make sure we do is really just take care of our psyche. Let's see what Joe is saying to us. Joe says, news is no problem. Social media would be harder because everything is connected to them, but I'm up for it. So he's considering doing the challenge, and I like that. How about you, Shika B? You want to take the challenge?
I'm already there. I'm tired of it now. I've been tired of it. The thing is, like I had a conversation with somebody. Was it last night about detaching and separating? Because he was asking me about the 2 widows in the truck, that we did a few weeks ago, and I said, I feel like I'm ready to do that again, detach. And then we say that we can't detach or we can't do this, but yes, you can. Those attachments are the things that you put on yourself. Yes, you can. And let me tell you, it's just like we used to say in the military, you're in number 4187. That means you are replaceable. So when you think that stuff don't go on or carry on just because you're not involved in or you're not watching it, I have a rude awakening. Yes, it will. Well, I thought about like we separated and we left. My 11-year-old, my 25-year-old was just fine without me, just fine. And even with that being said, not gonna be able. He said, Dr. Gerson, not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, I point out what Joe said because he makes a good point. He said we have to use the social media and not allow ourselves to be used by it. And that's a really good point. And he said, including the TV news. So that's a really good point because sometimes we get all sucked up into what's happening and we become part of the problem rather than just a consumer of the problem. We start to contribute to it. And that was, I know there was a big thing about that in the news recently with Facebook and social media and how they contributed to the insurrection. And that's because the algorithms and all those things, they send you off into these deep, dark rabbit holes. And before you know it, you're all caught up and you're caught up so much that you can't get out. And that's a lot of what happened during the insurrection. So we have to protect our hearts and our minds and really what's going into our system. And I tell people all the time, you must feed your spirit and feed it well. You need a nutritious diet for your spirit. And those things include prayer and meditation and positive reading, positive videos, things that are going to be uplifting as opposed to those things that are going to be tearing you down.
I like what Mr. Williams said. It's natural for me to back off when I'm interested in something else, like vacation and fishing. Yep.
Yes. Absolutely. And I like that. That's it. It's if we can intentionally set our minds to something positive, I believe it helps us. It helps us to just be able to turn off those other channels. If we can switch the channel from the negativity to something positive, I think it pays itself in dividends. We're able to really see the rewards of staying in that positive arena, staying in that positive environment. And I know what you say, pastor positivity. I know that the power of positivity is real. And I carry that over to laughter because laughter is just so important. And I had a really rough day yesterday. Yesterday was a rough day. I was frustrated and I was disappointed. I was hurt. I had just had a lot of emotions going on yesterday. And my 17-year-old, she was talking to me and she was like, Mom, what's going on? And ordinarily I just brush things off and I said, I'm good, I'm fine, whatever. But for some reason, I just, I said to her, I'm going through some things. And she's like, okay, like what? So then I started breaking them down to her. And ordinarily I don't do that. But by the time it was over, we were cracking up laughing. And I said to her, sweetheart, thank you for making Mom laugh. Because Mom really needed that laugh because things were getting a little shady, a little ugly. I was in my mind. I had that whole cussing, fussing spirit going on in my mind, and I get quiet when I get like that because I don't want to say anything to offend anybody.
I don't. I just let it out.
And you know what? And that's a strategy. That may be a strategy that works for you. No, but as a pastor's wife, sometimes it's better for me to just be quiet than to say what I'm really thinking. So I struggle with that because I try to look like I'm always composed, always have my life together, have myself together, and then inside, it's like that duck with their what do you call it? I don't want to say fins. They're not fins. What the ducks have? They're
Who?
Underwater. They're paddling to stay afloat.
I'm hearing something. My stuff is just dinging. I'm just wondering what's dinging. Okay. My computer is just dinging. I don't know where it's coming in at.
Yeah. So
the little fans. That's what they have. The little web.
I don't know. I know it's webbed something, but
web is what they have. But it is. Yep.
So Mr. Williams says, wow, you ladies are on point. Laughing is good for your soul and mental health, and kids make you just bust out laughing, and they do. And, and I appreciate that. And as much as I try to shield them and protect them, I just try to act like it's all good and, we can keep smiling and keep moving on. But sometimes it does it good to let people see that you struggle too, that you have concerns, that you're as vulnerable as the next one. And I'm learning that in my old age. For the longest time, I stayed with no, that's my business. Don't tell nobody my business. I wanted to just keep it all in my box. But now I've realized that people connect with you better when you actually share with them that, you're having a moment. And we all have those moments. Not one can sit up here and say that they don't have those moments. So it was really good to have a chance to sit and talk with my daughter last night. And like I said, she got me laughing and it fixed my mood. I haven't been feeling that way since then. And that was last night. So the problems haven't changed, still have the same situations that are going on, still have those frustrations and those disappointments. They have not resolved. But just the fact that I was able to exhale, to laugh it off and have some fun with her, it just really made a big difference. And I was able to reset. And that's what happens. It gives us a chance to reset. And I see we have some people jumping in. Prativa says that the duck things are fins, okay? And Mr. Williams said they're called feet. And let's see, Prativa said, yes, make sure you laugh it up. So everybody's on the same page. I think we really recognize that laughter is important. It's God's medicine. And it really does release chemicals into the brain. So a lot of times when we're fighting depression, particularly me, because I've struggled with depression. And as I have struggled with that depression, I have said to myself, let me just sit down and watch a funny movie or watch a funny video. And sometimes it's just a YouTube video or, one of those quick things, 5 minutes or whatever, just something to just really release some of those chemicals into the brain. And they say that the chemicals that are released into your brain have the same effect as the positive feeling that you get from drugs. When you get that euphoric feeling, they say that laughter produces that same feeling. So it's just one of those things that I try to use as a strategy when I'm not feeling my best, when I'm not feeling myself. So sit down, a quick YouTube video or a funny movie. And I particularly love to watch comedians at that time because that usually is enough. If I can get through a half hour of a comedian, I'm usually good to go after that. So that's just some things that I like to try. What do you do, Yashica, when you're, well, first of all, do you struggle with having depression or having those issues where you're not feeling yourself? I don't want to assume.
No, I said I just don't like to be bothered. When I don't want to be bothered, I just go to myself because I'm not going to be nice and I'm not going to be in a good, I just say, you know what, I'm feeling myself right now and just separate. And it's better for me to separate from the situation or the person or the people or however. But usually like the kids, they know if I don't want to be bothered, I just go to my room. Or either they know when they start getting assignments. No problem.
And they're usually assignments that take them away from you, right?
Yep. And I started asking questions like, why is this not done? And why is that not done? And this, and so this morning, and because they love that phone, I ain't even got to say nothing. I'm just texting, hey, do X, Y, Z, do X, Y. So they'll know, start moving.
That is so true.
For Ghost, because he's got something. I don't know what it is, but Ace says he knows what it is. So, but it sounds he's chewing something. So I just don't know exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah, separation is called me time, but Mr. Williams, absolutely. And so I'll take it in a second. Now I don't even, I used to feel guilty about it because after my husband passed, I used to feel guilty about leaving when he was sick. I used to feel guilty about after he passed, like leaving the little ones. But now I don't care. I just don't want to be bothered with you. Move, just go.
As Joe said, the chemical that we're talking about is endorphins.
Yeah.
So, and he's so true about that. Those endorphins that are released, those chemicals that are released into the brain, they really, really react in a positive way with the brain. And they say that laughter can heal the body. So I know that there have been Joe. I know you're a fan of Joel Osteen. I know there's a sermon where Joel tells this story of this lady who was really struggling. I don't remember what the issue was. I'm just going to say fibromyalgia. Or something along those lines. And she struggled with this, and she went back and forth to the doctor. They couldn't fix it. They couldn't find what was going on. And then in a conversation with the doctor, she mentioned to him that she had not truly laughed in years. She had just been so miserable and in so much pain. And the prescription that he wrote to her, he wrote a prescription: go watch a funny movie every single night. Watch a funny movie. And a comedian or something along those lines. And when she came back for that 30-day checkup, she was practically completely healed. It just transformed her body, her physical state. So those endorphins affect our emotional state, our mental state, and our physical state. So it's important. That's something that we should, as we're taking this social media challenge, how about if we replace that social media with some funny stuff, some comedians and some comedies on TV or whatever. And SiriusXM has a category of comedians, so you can listen to it on the on SiriusXM as well. So those are some things. And sitcoms, a lot of sitcoms, you can get a quick dose of funny laughter. So that's really cool stuff. I see you saying, yes, you need to detach. And I want to say something about the me time, because that me time is so important. And I'll tell you that I really struggle with that. Like you were saying, and I want you to go back to that, because you were saying you felt guilty about getting your me time. I struggled with that same thing. And it was like, you almost feel as though you're being selfish, particularly when you're a mom with young children, and you can't even go to the bathroom without somebody knocking on the door and coming into the house. Coming into the bathroom with you. And as you're doing those things, it's just annoying. And then it just takes you further and further down that rabbit hole of frustration and anger and all those things. And it just gets bad. But if you can say to yourself, if you can set those boundaries, I'm going to take myself 15, 20 minutes to myself, nobody bother me, and set the boundaries and mean it. There's a whole lot of good things that can happen in that quiet time. So
I ain't taking a 15, 20 minutes. I'm taking a whole day.
Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing, but it was more difficult when we had young children. Right?
I just with Ace is 11, so and he's all into his games. He don't be worried about me, but he will ask, where am I? And so I have this thing is, if I'm going to grab coffee or something like that, as long as I bring him back a bacon gouda if I go to Starbucks, or a ham and cheese croissant if I go to the Lighthouse, he's good. I just have to bring him his sandwiches back, but other than that. But today, me and Ghost decided to go for a ride today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I take him because sometimes I have to detach from him too, because he's lovable. Yes, he's my baby, but I have to detach from him too, because our responsibility at times that it gets kind of not overwhelming or overbearing. And when you're trying to juggle your mom, being a mom, juggle what you're trying to do as far as your business, and it gets a little heavy and hectic at times. Then when you have a upset weekend like this weekend, and you try to put all this stuff in perspective and say, okay, well, this is what I'm getting ready to do. So
it's too much. Pratibha says, fine and fabulous skin and great lipstick too. Thank you, Pratibha. I don't know which one of us you're speaking to, or both of us, but thank you either way.
Yeah.
So,
But anyway, just like that's right, Dr. Gray.
yeah. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. And I want to say this as well. This is a funny story. I was best friends.
Wait, I was wait a minute now. Where'd you Gray? Oh.
Huh?
Carry on.
I when I was younger, particularly in college, I had both of my grandmothers were like my best friends. I talked to both of them practically on a daily basis. And one of them was a bottle toting grandmom, and the other one was a Bible toting grandmom. So,
Bible toting, Bible what?
Say it again.
Say it. No, you say what you said again.
Oh, I said one of them was a bottle toting grandmom, and the other one was a Bible toting grandmom. Okay. So I had grandmothers from two very different perspectives, two very different personalities. One would cuss you out at the drop of a dime, and the other one was like always trying to put you together, no matter what. Always trying to, and I tell you, I love both of my grandmoms so much because they were good to me. They talked to me, they pulled me aside when they needed to have some things to say to me. And one of the things that I remember so clearly, I was in college and I was running around doing too much, burning a candle at both ends, working, going to school, trying to play, trying to do a business. I had my first entrepreneurship then while I was in college. So I had a lot of stuff going on. And they both on the same day at different times in the same day pulled me aside. One of them said to me, "You're doing too much. You need to get somewhere and sit your behind down." Of course, she didn't use behind. She used the other word, but I'm going to be nice because I have to be respectful of my audience. And then my other grandma, she was like, "Sweetie, the Bible says that you need to take some time to yourself and sit down and just really do some quiet time, some meditative time, reflect and meditate on God's word." And so I got both of these two things, but the message was the same. Both of them said to me, essentially, you need to get somewhere and sit down and have some quiet time and stop running around. And I'll never forget that because they both came at me on the same day, which means I must have really been looking haggard, acting haggard, whatever it was. I must have really been acting up in order for both of them to come at me on the same day. But they came from two different perspectives, but nonetheless, they both had the same message, and I needed to hear that message. And now I'm learning to say that message and to give that to people around me. And we all need to be reminded one time or another when we're doing too much. And that's what we say now in my family. We'll say, "Okay, you're doing too much." And usually when you're doing too much, that you know that means get somewhere and sit down and relax because you're just doing too much. So that just goes along with what you were saying in terms of the quiet time and Mr. Williams saying that me time, and that it's critical. It really does make all the difference in the world because it gives your brain a chance to reset. It gives your focus a chance to reset.
Wait a minute, did y'all say it was a full moon? I mean to cut y'all, but that what y'all said? It's a full moon.
Yeah, it's a full moon.
I'm just because I'm doing this, and then like we talking about doing too much, and then I have something that came in, and then I know you said yesterday that was a rough day for you, and yesterday was a rough day for me. And then I'm just reading this message that I just got across my phone because I have my phone down so I can see the comments because I'm here to respond. So that's just interesting that's coming in from 3 different areas from 3 different people, but it's basically all saying the same thing. So that's why I asked about the full moon.
And that really does affect us. That truly does affect us.
Well, I'm going to get
scientific research that backs that.
I'm getting some format. It's called a Bourbon Mule. And what you do is you find your Kentucky bourbon and you put a little bit of ginger beer in there, a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of simple syrup, and some mint. And then you just have a nice cap.
And that is the pull of the moon. Then what does it pull you to? I'm just curious. Where does that take you to? I'm asking for the people in the back of the room.
It takes you to an extra type thing.
That's That's funny. So another thing that I thought of when we were just talking is not just the quiet time, but also learn to read the signs. And I have taught my children that as they were babies, read the signs. I would say to them when they were little, look at mommy's face. Does mommy look happy with that? That's not happy. So look at mommy's face. What does that tell you? You know, I used my facial expressions to teach them to read the signs. And Mr. Williams is funny. He said a good drink will make you howl at the moon. And this is true.
Okay. I ain't playing. Sometimes, you know, I ain't trying to tell nobody to go do that.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Definitely not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, so that's really important for us to pay attention to. And as I said, I do not want to stay on here long with this storm that's happening. Is there anything that you really want to touch base on, Miss Yashica B? Just make sure.
No, I know that one time I was thinking about one time I do it afraid and do it anyway, because when those terror barriers and those life hacks and all those different things come at you, because that's like one of the things about tonight. I was not in the mood. Really, I wasn't. Just not.
You were not in the mood, but you pushed through anyway.
Yeah, I did.
That's the beauty of that.
I was like, man, I am not in the mood, but I haven't been in the mood all day, and even with me not being in the mood all day, I still had to entertain one or two things because I should have. Now I'm just laughing at Ghost because he just does the most. He does the most. Sometimes like he doing his hard breathe like
you got so much to worry about. Like he's frustrated. He's sighing. Oh my goodness.
I was sitting in the chair. I was just sitting in my chair. He got to put his butt right there. To look out the window as if he didn't have that whole chair back there.
Yes.
But he got
I have two dogs, but the black lab, that's Marley. He is just like how you describe Ghost. He always got something to say, always huffing and puffing and coming to get me. And if I don't move when he say move, then he's mad. He just lets me know he mad. You know, he's a trip. These dogs are really a trip. Yeah, I get the little one, she's just ornery. She's just busy, always into something and thinks she running the show. But
it's like my grandma used to say about the kids, like they've been here before. That dog been here before.
Yeah, I believe they have some personalities, don't they?
Yep.
So this was a fantastic show. You guys made me laugh today. I enjoyed and I learned. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Williams. We appreciate your insight, your feedback, all that good stuff. We love that because without all of that, we're just two women having a conversation. So it
doesn't bother me at all.
Yes.
But even with that, though, Mr. Williams, normally well, that's pretty good. I like the comment he made before that. A good drink will make you howl.
Oh yeah, let me put that back up there on the screen. Make you howl at the moon and do a dance or jig or two too, huh?
Yeah, you can see that. Yep.
You are funny.
But anyway, I always say like with things that happen, adversity builds character, and adversity also reveals character too. So remember
that. I like that.
I
like that.
When you're going up against
adversity builds character and also reveals character. Now I'm gonna have to borrow that, Sheik B. I like that. That's some good stuff right there. So Joe says, thank you guys. Love you. We love you too, Joe. Thanks so much. Good morning. I know it's like 1:30, 1:40 in the morning there. So God bless you and thank you for hanging out with us for a few moments. We appreciate that. Mm-hmm. All right. So anything else? Anything that you
I am good on this one. I'm just gonna mellow out with this one tonight. It's just kind of like reflect and just soak it in and
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let me recommend that you do some journaling while you are.
I don't feel like writing. You haven't gotten to that point where you don't feel like writing. You don't feel like doing nothing. I was like, that's honest. I didn't even want to hear nobody positive, nothing. I just didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to hear nothing. Don't say that. I didn't want to answer just don't do nothing.
And you know what is crazy? There's sometimes, well, I know you know this because I read it in your book.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sometimes you don't even feel like praying. Not you. I mean, we in general, we're getting to such a funk and such a low vibration. That's that low vibration that we're learning about right now. That vibration thing, it's real, because when you let yourself slide into that, or not let yourself, when you find yourself in that low vibration, it's really tough. It's hard to come out of that, because once you get there, it's like a spiral. It's like that rabbit hole. It just takes you in. It's like a sinkhole, or the quicksand. You just get pulled into it. So it's important to really do your best to fight that low vibe. If you can fight that low vibe and keep from going there, preventing going there is so much better.
Like, it's been there, but now it's like you can recognize it. Then that's the thing with me. I recognize it now. And that's when I was just saying that when I recognize it, I went ahead and said it to the people who was bothering me. So I told you I'm in a low energy.
People bothering you?
Well, no. So when you keep on saying something and I snap back, it ain't nobody's fault but yours. But I told you, I gave you warning now. I said I'm in a
read the signs. That's what I'm talking about. Read the signs. And then you tell them, and they still go there.
Yes, I said I'm not in the mood right now. Don't send me 10 more texts now, because probably about that third and a half when you probably gonna catch something in a minute. But I done fought through 1 and 2 now. And so I'm like, okay.
Look, you need your cup. Can you get your cup?
That's just it. I don't have a cup tonight. So I'm like,
you gotta make sure you come armed with your cup, because this cup right here, it keeps you out of trouble. This is what I use to keep you out of trouble.
Yes, so I don't have it tonight. So you're absolutely right.
I hope there's water in there, and then I want you to take a sip of that water so that you pull up for just a second to regroup. Get up to regroup. And I love that Joe says bath with sea salt is what he recommends every full moon. And I love that, because when you take a bath with those bath salts and stuff, oh my gosh, it just feels so relaxing. And you almost feel the toxins pull out of your body, and it helps you to become more positive. That's just one layer. And like you mentioned all the time, Yashica, there's so many layers to us. If we can just start attacking one layer at a time, we become so much better because of it. So I love that, Joe. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And I have some too, all the way from the Dead Sea.
Yes. Oh man, I have some of that. That's some good stuff right there.
Yes, I have mine from one of the girls in the group, Lorraine Walker. Is it Lorraine? I ordered from. I think it was her. But look, I do have this, but that I wanted to show you. That's out.
Nice. Put it up there again so we can see it.
That's this one. Let me see, because I have to. Okay, my light right there.
There you go. Mothers and daughters. Read the subtitle.
Their story, their way, only they can tell it.
Their story, their way, only they could tell it. I love it. Love it. Congratulations on that. And you have contributed a chapter to that book. Am I correct?
That is correct. That's I think I got the last chapter. There's something. I mean, the first to last. I got to see what's going on with that now.
Well, that's
because it's the last. Bring me out the gate shooting. That's all I can say.
Sounds good.
But yeah, but I put the information to be out there on Facebook soon. I'm just not gonna do it tonight, because I just don't want to touch nothing, because my energy is off. I don't want to touch nothing. So it's like, okay, I'll wait and get the stuff out there next week. And next week. Wait a minute, no, this week.
And you know what? It's kind of like, how you don't want to deal with things when you're angry. How it's a bad idea to deal with something when you're angry. It's also a bad idea to deal with things when you have that low energy level, that low vibration that we were just speaking of. You make a lot of sense by saying, you know what, I'm just going to hold off on that. Because it really does make a difference, because our response to things when you're hungry, angry, or lonely. I think that's what they say. In the world of mental health and psychology, they say that when you are experiencing those things, you should not be dealing with other issues.
Yep, those emotions. That's right.
Yes.
Let those emotions work through themselves. Don't add anything to them. But I just say that the beauty of it again is to being able to recognize things, to recognize where like Kelly Ann, she just love a bowl. And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a picture before I do." I said, I said, "No, we're not doing that." I said, "Because my energy ain't right, and I don't need it to spread." She said, "Okay."
Okay. Yes. All right. So we have actually come to 45 minutes, and we still got storms going on here and all that good stuff. And I'm keeping my eye on. I want to just go ahead and.
Well, you said storms, but I see sunshine out your window.
I knew you were going to say that. Leave it to Yashica B. She always
says one. Looking out there the window. That don't look like no storm to me. So
yes, absolutely. So, anywho, any final thoughts or comments that you want to share with our viewers before we close this out?
Well, like I said, always make tomorrow better than today. And each day you wake up on this side of the dirt, it should be better than the day that you laid down. I just feel like every day that you rise should be something different. Command your day. When you get up in the morning, it's like how I was very transparent tonight around vibration, so like that. I recognize this stuff, and I recognize and I acknowledge it. I acknowledge it because as long as I'm acknowledging it, I'm accepting it, and that means I can intentionally deliver myself from it. And that's what I'm doing. So just in case you all, well, why is she saying this? Because I'm doing this. It's a purpose. Everything's intentional. So it's intentional that I put it out there. It's intentional that I acknowledge and accept it, and then I ask for that intentional deliverance from wherever I am with my funk, which I still can laugh about it and say, no, I'm not in a deeper, serious one. And it just makes tomorrow or the next minute better than the last minute, and that's what I do. So I just challenge and charge you guys with that too. And remember, just like we said last week with the elderly and the people that you don't talk to all the time, please reach out to somebody, say hello, say you love them, just give them a call. Just talk to somebody that you don't normally talk to. Just check on them to make sure they're okay, because they're struggling through this time. I'm talking about the elderly or the people who live by themselves, the single moms, not just the single mom, the single people, because if you're a mom, you got an extra little body in the house with you, but the single people who are also trapped into these houses during this time, just reach out to them, call them, say something different, drop a gallon of milk off an apple, an orange. They might appreciate that.
Absolutely. I love that. So that's two challenges. The challenge from last week that you mentioned was to reach out to someone, anyone, particularly the elderly, but also people who may not be able to be in any social arena right now due to the COVID situation, or due to whatever the situation may be. Maybe it's not COVID, maybe it's medical, maybe it's whatever. So reach out to them. Challenge number one. Challenge number two, consider doing a 48-hour to 72-hour social media, TV news cleanse. And just see how you make out with that. But replace those things that you normally do, the news and the drag, the Twitter drag, and all that stuff. Replace that with something funny. Watch a comedy. Watch a comedian.
The Golden Girls are good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of good ones on there. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Blackish.
Martin, he about 7. I'm like, yeah, laugh at that. Yep. So just watch something different, do something different.
Absolutely. So with that all being said, I just want to take this opportunity to make sure that we holler it out to everybody. And I believe we did. I see that Nikoria is watching. So I just want to say hi to her. And we saw quite a few. I believe we shouted everyone else out. This
is the last Sunday of Women's History Month as well. So we start next week with April. April, are we gonna come on? That's Easter Sunday. We'll think about that, y'all. We might take a break on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, this is Palm Sunday. So Hosanna, Hosanna. Yes. All right. God bless you all. We thank you for joining us. And like I said before, like I always say, we appreciate you. We are grateful for you. Without you as viewers, we are doing nothing but having a Zoom call. So thank you for joining in, providing your feedback, your insight, any questions that you have. Thank you. and thank you for allowing us to connect with you. We appreciate our relationship with you, our viewers. And as Ms. Yashica just said, please make sure you like and share and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook and you can find us on YouTube. So we look forward to seeing you the next time. We will post any updates that we come up with regard to Easter Sunday, because next Sunday is Easter Sunday. And as Yashica just mentioned, we may decide to take that day off unless something is really pressing. So either way, we look forward to talking to you next time. God bless you. We love you.